Hello, everybody. Welcome to Season 1, Episode, I believe, 14 of Bridging Generations with Howard Snooks. And I have a very interesting guest here today named Mark Maurer. And before we get into examining what motivates Mark, I want to start with a little dad joke, like I try to do. So, Mark, what do you think the lunchbox said to the refrigerator?
I have no idea.
Said, don't put me down just because I'm a little cooler.
Oh God, that is a bad joke.
They're bad. Nice. I mean, the worse they are, the better they are, I think, actually.
True. Well, that was up there, so good job.
It was up there on the bad scale. Okay, Mark. Hey, I'm glad that you came today. I've really been looking forward to getting to know you better. And I've known you now for, what would you say? I don't know how long you've, about
close to a year.
It's getting close to a year. Yeah. And in different places, different ways. But we've never had an in-depth conversation. So this will be our chance to have one.
Right, exactly.
And I'm going to turn the mic over to you in just a sec, but I just want to sort of underscore what I do here. It's the Bridging Generations is my attempt to learn how to have authentic, meaningful conversations and relationships between generations. I think pretty often baby boomers get, like I am, placed in a certain box, and Generation X and Generation Z and millennials get placed in certain boxes, and everybody, like there's sort of like hard feelings or touchiness between these generations. So this is my small goal, is to lessen that distance that there might be between generations. Yeah. And you are a guy that has to deal with people from other generations. I know that about you. But anyway, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to have you just sort of tell a little bit about yourself, Mark. Okay.
Well, I'm from Hungary. And my mom was a director and an editor at the Hungarian television station. And I watched her communicate on set quite a bit. And she definitely had to always bridge this generational gap, because she had to talk to the actors and actresses and the gaffer guy and the lighting guy and everybody was
the production team.
Everybody was a different age. So I think that's where I got my first taste, I guess, of seeing somebody communicate with multiple generations all the time. And while at the time in Hungary, it wasn't like in the US where, I mean, what is it, like $10,000 a minute for a big production or something like that. So obviously it was nothing like that. This is in the 90s. This is like mid-ish, late 90s that we're talking about right now. But still, as far as Hungary was concerned, it was expensive. I mean, you're burning money for sure. So I watched my mom have to be very careful with her words, because you couldn't be too verbose. You had to be extremely direct, because you did not want to be misunderstood. Wow. And that is actually a conversation that I had with her, that she said that she was gauging her effectiveness of speech by the questions that she got back. Because she said that if she was getting too many clarifying questions, clearly she did not communicate effectively. And so she was always trying to do her best to be as direct as possible without really hurting people's feelings.
God, your mom really gave you wise advice. Like she really had an observation that was cool. Yeah. That's like A for mom, not every parent is able to give such sound advice. Really useful to you.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. She was pretty amazing.
Wow. So, well, since we are on the subject of Hungary, a big deal happened here yesterday with Hungary.
Yes.
And I don't mean this to be an overtly political thing, but I don't want to avoid it either. But I'm just interested in your take on what happened with Hungary and the election.
Yeah, I mean, my God, 16 years of rule that got toppled, basically. I don't know. I mean, it's a sort of a new era for sure. Clearly the voters spoke. I mean, I think it was like 54% or 50 some percent in the favor of the new
It was remarkable.
party.
And something like 80% of people voted, or 86, some huge percentage of people voted.
Exactly. And 50 some percent doesn't sound like a lot, but when you realize that there's multiple parties in Hungary, so it's not just a two-party system. As soon as you're getting over like 41, 2, 3, 4%, you're basically having the majority of the votes.
Right.
So getting 54+% is huge. I mean, I think that's close to 70% of the seats in the parliament.
I read that's where it really showed, was like this huge number of people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because the previous party got like 30 some percent. I don't remember exactly what. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen for sure.
Well, I saw the new, I guess, the prime minister. He's going to be the prime minister. He was dancing across the stage, and he has these dance moves, and he's sort of a cool guy.
Yeah.
That's what you know, as opposed to Orban, who no one would say he was a cool guy, whatever they believed about his politics. Yeah. But this is like, talk about abridging generations. We're going to have to all look to Hungary to see how they manage this.
I mean, my God, politics. I mean, any time I've ever listened to any political speeches, I mean, they never answer the actual question that's asked, and it always pissed me off. I'm like, why are you not answering the question? So that to me is more like a wall bit of communication. It's like obfuscation. Is that the word?
Obfuscation. Yeah.
Obfuscation.
Yes, it is.
Rather than being clear.
Well, tell me about learning English, and I'll make an observation. You have impeccable English.
Thanks.
Every once in a while, I hear this little. It's just an accent. It's just barely an accent, and I just think that's so. It's a very cool. I like to hear. When you talk, I like to hear it. I think it's really cool. But tell me about how you learned English.
I got lucky because in kindergarten, my first teacher in Hungary was somewhere from the US. I don't remember where, but he was American. So he spoke American English. And that wasn't usually in Hungary at the time, because most English teachers at the time were speaking British English. So that was lucky.
Like India.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. Also, my mom was on the panel, basically, of the people who chose what movies made it into Hungarian cinemas, right? And at the time, these movies that came from Hollywood, or honestly anywhere else, they had to be dubbed, because most Hungarians at the time did not speak English. So I saw everything in English with subtitles.
Wow.
And most of those movies were coming from Hollywood, so they're American movies. So that was another one.
Yeah.
I loved Cartoon Network, so I watched Cartoon Network all the time. That was also American English. And then when my mom met my stepdad, he lived in Arizona.
Really?
This Hungarian-American guy, yeah.
Wow.
He lived in Arizona. So once again, Arizona had a very flat American English.
Right.
And from there, I moved to California. So once again, it's just a very sort of like flat-ish.
So when did you move to the United States?
When I was 13.
13?
Yeah, so eighth grade on.
Wow. That's a significant age. Like you changed from, I don't know, what are you, 13, you're in 8th grade? Yeah. So tell me about being the new kid in school a little. And think about mentors, and think about people that helped and people that harmed. Just think about those things as you tell.
Right, mentors. I mean, really, it was quite honestly just my mom at that point as well. I mean, I hung out with her a lot, and she was just super cool, and she always had an interesting perspective on everything. And
so she helped you.
For sure.
She really helped you in this transition. Well, she sort of goes, man, here I am. I'm picking up my son and taking him to the United States because I married this guy who knows, like my son even likes her, just the whole thing. And she probably felt like she better be helpful here. Yeah.
I mean, she always was. I mean, I had a very good relationship with her. She always treated me as an adult as opposed to a kid. She? Yeah, I always felt like I was treated equal from an early age on. I never felt like I'm your parent, I'm going to tell you what to do, so you better do it. It was always was always a discussion. There's always a reason for everything.
Wow. How about grandparents?
Grandparents, on my dad's side, very interesting. My dad's mom was an architect, so she was also very exact. And same thing, she had to be very careful with her words. I think in Hungary, especially, that my grandma's generation had to be very careful with what they say because they're growing up under a communistic rule.
Yeah.
So depending on what you said and who heard what you said could definitely determine the rest of your life. You could end up in jail. You could get a promotion. You could, there's many things that could have happened. So she was also very, very careful with how she spoke.
So your grandmother was probably more or less in my generation, I would say, born like right after the Second World War.
93 at the moment. So
so she's she's older than I am.
Yeah, a little bit.
More than a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, not really that much older.
My other grandma just turned 90, and
they're both still alive.
Yeah, both. I mean, my mom's mom, she's still doing quite well, but my dad's mom, she's in basically hospice, and she has no idea what's going on. Yeah.
Is she in Hungary?
Yeah, she's in Hungary. Yeah. She told me the other day that her and her friend went on a hike and they made sandwiches and everything. When I spoke to her, it was 2 p.m. there. And they went to northern Hungary. They made their sandwiches. They went on a hike and they came back down and they went to the hot springs and they drove back to the city. I was like, that's like a 14-hour day you just described, but it's 2 p.m. And she was like, well, yeah, we left very early. And I was like, nice.
So she's cheerful. She may have dementia, but she's cheerful and she's having sweet thoughts.
And she does Sudoku like you wouldn't believe. Oh my God. She's filling out the hardest Sudoku puzzles ever. She loved math. Wow. She loved numbers. I mean, she was the architect. So yeah.
Well, you've mentioned 2 women now in your family. They both were extremely high achievers. To be an architect back then for a woman, I would,
for sure.
In the United States, it would really be hard. Maybe I would think it would have been hard in Hungary as well.
Yeah. I think she was one of 4 or 5 women in her class. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did she ever say how she got there? Did someone ever help her along the way? Did you ever mention that?
I'm sure I've had that conversation with her, but I honestly, I don't remember. She, I think maybe her dad, I don't know. I don't want to say anything stupid. I truly don't remember.
But she had somebody in her corner. And your mom had somebody in her corner too, I would think, to have a position like that.
She sure did.
Wow. Yeah. Do you know who that was?
He was an older gentleman. His name was Poppy.
Poppy?
P-A-P-I, Poppy, which basically it's like an endearing term, kind of like saying Pops. Everybody just called him Pops. He died relatively recently, 4 or 5 years ago. And he was pretty high up in the Hungarian film scene. He was also a director and an editor, and he got a lot of different accolades. And I remember that he mentored my mom through acting school, because originally my mom wanted to be an actor, but apparently she wasn't good enough. So somehow the 2 of them met, and he offered her an intern position at the Hungarian television station as an editor's intern, I guess. Wow. And so that's how my mom got into the Hungarian television station. Yeah.
I love the story.
Yeah.
This is really great.
Yeah. And my grandma, my mom's mom, she was also a very good communicator because she was a baker. And she got up at 3 a.m, baked whatever she had to bake. And then she was also selling it. And she was a fantastic salesperson. She could sell whale blubber to a vegetarian. It was incredible.
But Hungarian pastries are famous.
Yeah. Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's some good ones for sure.
Now, isn't Finnish the language that's most closely related to Hungarian?
I know, that's what I keep on hearing, that
they're both derived
like Finn-Ugric language, but maybe the cadence, because it definitely does not sound similar.
But I think it does have the same roots, and it's like, how the heck did that happen?
I have no idea. Hungarian is a very, very interesting language. I honestly, I like to communicate better in Hungarian if it's something more serious, because there's a lot of Hungarian words that describe something extremely specific. So if you wield Hungarian correctly, it is hard to be misunderstood. If you talk to someone in Hungarian and you feel like that they're not being clear, it's usually on purpose, because you can be super clear on what you're trying to say.
That's such an interesting observation. Now, of course, I want to hear something that is really specific. And I know it's hard to come up with something out of the blue, but
no.
Can you explain what you mean about it being super specific?
So there's this word, it's Chete-chat. And Chete-chat means that an animal is running through sort of thick bushes and making a lot of noise. Kind of like a warthog running through bushes or something like that.
Okay.
So Chete-chat describes that action and also sound. So when you say that word, it is very hard to misunderstand what it is that you are talking about. You're not going to be thinking the other person is talking about something quiet, or you're thinking like an elephant in the China store, right? Like that type of very specific descriptor.
But it sounds like you're saying that's used as a metaphor. It's like when they're not talking about an animal going through they're talking about a specific kind of way of going through the
right, exactly. But you could use that. I mean, if you're hunting, for example, then you could use that word to describe that the sound of the animal that's making, or you see them running through the bushes. Yeah, for sure. So. But you could use it as a metaphor as well for a person whose presence and whose demeanor is just very in your face and just loud, for sure. But then again, you can't misunderstand that. That's so obvious. It's such a specific action that it describes.
Well, you know what? When you were talking about a Hungarian word, your accent got stronger.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's really interesting. Well, our language shapes us. Our language shapes our brains. It shapes our neurology. It shapes so many things about us. I just think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you get to Boulder? I just want to, this podcast is set in Boulder, and it's one of the big crossroads, I think. It's not that big of a city, but people from all walks of life and from all over the world show up here in Boulder.
Yeah.
And so here you are, this guy from Hungary. Yep. And I don't know how big the Hungarian, if you actually know expatriates or anything from
just one. It was at the city club as well. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you get here then?
Well, I mean, between Sedona and here, there was a lot of stops.
So you started in Sedona. That's where
where I'm right.
So it was a new age. It was kind of a new age
for sure. Town. Yeah. So that's why I kind of like Boulder when I first got here. Okay, this kind of got Sedona vibes, right? Mm-hmm. Not as many pendulum swinging vortex people here.
The vortex. Yeah, right, there's not the vortex is Miss Boulder.
Right. But still, I mean, there's a bit of woo-woo here in the mountains.
Definitely.
So I definitely, Boulder definitely resonated with me because I grew up in Sedona.
But how did you find out about Boulder? What?
I didn't. I have three best friends. We all met in Los Angeles, and one of them still in LA. Another one moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and another one lives here in Boulder. And
a posse. You've got a posse.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I moved to Atlanta with my best friend David, and my other friend JJ, who lives here in Boulder. He had a 4th of July party, and that was coming up 5 years ago now. And David and I just decided to come to that party. And
so you drove up from Sedona?
No. So it was in Atlanta, right?
Oh, that's
so
right.
David was living in Atlanta,
Atlanta,
and I moved to Atlanta to live with David. Moved back from Hungary. I know there's a lot of stops because from Sedona I went to LA. From LA I went back to Sedona, and then from there back to Hungary, and then I lived all over a couple places in Europe, and then I moved back to Atlanta.
Okay.
So there was like a couple stints in Hungary and a couple stints in the US.
Okay.
And anyways, we visited my friend JJ, and when JJ picked us up and he was driving us through here just downtown, I was like, I'm gonna move here. And they was like, what do you mean? It's dark. You can't even see. I was like, dude, I'm gonna move here. I can feel it. I can see it. I can see the outline of the mountains. I love this place. This is great. And sure enough, a year later, I moved here.
So that was a very powerful feeling you had. Huh.
Yep. I don't know. I just, when I like something, I'm like, that's it. Right. Yeah. And I just make it happen.
You know, I just had this association that there's something connected between your mom treating you like an adult and having faith in you, and you're having faith in what you're feeling. I wonder, don't you think there might be a connection there?
Yeah, absolutely. Huh. I mean, she was, when I was growing up, that's when my mom was going through a pretty big like self-developmental phase. And we just talked. So she shared a lot of her thoughts with me. And she was very big on being introspective and figuring out. She didn't like how people were walking through life and doing things and not knowing why. So she was very introspective in order to realize like what in her led her to do a certain action. Because everything has a meaning. We do something for a reason or because of a reason, because of past traumas or past relationships or whatever. So she wanted to be very clear on herself so that she knows why she does what she does, why she says what she says.
Wow.
And so that obviously sort of rubbed off on me too. And and that gave me a lot of confidence in my decisions, because I'm fully aware of why I do what I do and why I say what I say. And I just being brutally honest with yourself, whether you like it or not. Yeah. Man,
I have a lot of respect for your mother, and I haven't even met her.
Super, super, super cool.
Yeah.
She was cool.
Well, so did she have a name for her conceptual framework of what she did? Was there a sort of a term for it? Or?
I mean, not really. I mean, she was reading all sorts of books. Like she was reading Osho. She studied Reiki, whether you believe that's real or not. I don't. I think that's complete bullshit, but who knows?
I don't know what Osho is. I do know
Osho. He was an Indian teacher, an Indian guru, if you wish. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I know what Reiki is, but I don't know what.
Like all sorts of. She was reading all sorts of self-help stuff, all sorts of books that had to do with self-discovery, basically.
And your stepfather, was he in that same realm of self introspection? And
yeah, very much so. I mean, that's how they met. My mom and her business partner at the time, they opened up the first like esoteric store in Hungary. And my stepdad was living in Sedona, and he was selling gems and minerals and pendulums.
Okay, I'm getting a picture here.
And all of that. So my stepdad went back to Hungary for, I believe he was there on a business trip. I truly don't remember. That's a little fuzzy. I was little still. He walked into the store and my mom was there, and that's how they met, and they fell in love. And
I love it how you call it the first esoteric store in Hungary.
I mean, it really was. Yeah. I mean, because they were selling all these different books that they were reading themselves, all these self-help books, and all the accoutrements that come with that, the crystals, the incense, the meditation stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Is your mother still living?
No.
Tell me a little bit about that. What happened with your mom?
She had cancer. Yeah, it's called myeloma multiplex. It's the bone marrow cancer.
My sister died of multiple myeloma.
Yeah. So,
wow.
So when we found out, like, that was that, we just knew that, that she has finite time. Yeah.
How long ago was this? Did this happen?
8 years in February.
8 years.
Yeah. Wow. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that also really made me think, what to say to who, because I wanted there to be nothing left unsaid between us. Yeah.
Did you have that chance then?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. She lived after she got diagnosed, she lived for another like 4.5-ish years.
Yeah. My sister went into remission with her multiple myeloma. And then, and she got diagnosed 2 weeks after our mother died. So she was about, I think she was 65, something like that, when she got it. And
so was my mom. Yeah.
And she thought she'd broken a rib is what happened.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yep. Exactly. She thought she broke her like sternum. Yeah, that's exactly how they found out.
I guess that's a pretty common thing because these honeycomb things form in
your bone just turns brittle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And I was thinking, boy, I would love to meet her. So
Me too.
Is your stepfather still living?
Yeah. Yeah. He's in Hungary.
He moved?
Yeah, they moved back to Hungary after I finished high school. Yeah.
I see. Wow.
Yeah.
So are you planning, and I know this is an up in the air question and no one knows for sure, but are you planning to make Boulder a permanent home?
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's just sort of an open-ended question.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you plan to do here in your life?
I guess since I've had a life where I've moved around a lot, I entertain the thought of permanence in one spot. However, that has not worked out for me because every now and then, and it's usually like 4, 5, 6 years, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a place I'm living, whether it's a place of work, I get antsy and I'm like, I'm ready to do something new. I'm ready to go somewhere new. And I don't quite feel that yet, but
you know yourself. You've been introspective and thought about it.
I'm surprised, I guess, that I don't feel that yet, because this is my internal clock is starting to tick down, I guess. I don't know how better to explain that, but it's just this feeling that I get that I'm ready to move on to something.
Well, I suppose some people are more likely than others they want to settle down and like I, for example, have lived in the same house for 41 years. But it's not like I have sat still and just sort of, been exactly the same. I've reinvented myself as well, which has sort of a similar, you look at things with different eyes when you reinvent yourself. So it doesn't feel the same as it did before. But I understand that. The wayward wind is a restless wind. A restless wind that yearns to wander.
I certainly seek out novelty.
Interesting.
For sure.
I don't know if you ever studied your Enneagram. Did you? Do you know what Enneagram is?
No.
Okay. Well, you're kind of a New Age guy related. So, and Enneagrams are kind of big in New Age circles. And they're big at the City Club, actually. A lot of people know their Enneagrams. Well, if you don't know anything, it's just sort of a sorting thing of different personalities types. There's 9 different personality types.
Like the ENFJ or what?
Well, that's a Myers-Briggs test.
Oh, that's Myers-Briggs. Okay. Then I don't know what you're talking about.
I had never heard of it either until I came to the City Club. But it's really an interesting thing to think about. So if you want to entertain yourself sometime, just look up Enneagrams and kind of figure out where you fit in there.
Okay.
There's not some magical thing. And it's not like, astrology, I'm not dissing astrology, but like to base your personality on, the placement of the stars. Like,
I think it's absolute bullshit.
Do you?
I do. I mean, like, come on now. I mean, because the Mars was in retrograde, but Saturn and the moon was like whatever. I don't know. I mean,
no, I'm not. I'm in no way promoting astrology, but the thing about it that I was bringing up was the Enneagram. Actually, it doesn't say it relates to this or this or this. It's just like, here's some personality types, and you can see they're pretty clearly defined, and you can sort of recognize that there are these different personality types. So it's just sort of a fun thing to do.
Yeah, the Myers-Briggs one that you were talking about, I did take that, and that's surprisingly accurate.
Well, what did you find out about yourself through that?
Nothing.
you know.
Nothing. I mean, it just wrote down what I already knew. I guess maybe it's just if you want somebody to get to know you better, you can sort of show them like, this is me, and then you can be like, this is like 80% accurate, 90% accurate, 50% accurate.
Wow.
And then if somebody reads that, then all of a sudden now they know you better. So I guess if you read my Myers-Briggs thing, it's surprisingly accurate. Yeah.
Well, you know what Myers-Briggs is based on?
I do not.
Carl Jung,
the
psychoanalyst who's kind of a mystical guy. It's interesting that all these corporations use Myers-Briggs test, and not many of them really know it was this sort of, he wasn't New Age, you would say. He was a psychoanalyst, but he was trained by Freud, and then they sort of had a break, and Carl Jung got into things like the collective unconscious. And somehow out of all this came the Myers-Briggs test, which was a surprise to me.
I mean, I had all my managers or my higher up employees fill out the Myers-Briggs test. I just wanted to know how to work with them better. I mean, it was just it just made sense. So
interesting. Well, let's talk about your job, and and especially about wine. I think this is something that the listeners will really enjoy hearing about you, is your relationship to wine.
I went to wine school in Austria.
Where did you, in Austria?
Yeah. That's why I went back to Hungary. I was working in Arizona, and I got laid off, and I was like, I was working at a tasting room at a winery in Page Springs Cellars, and I got laid off for whatever reason. I don't know what reason they gave me, and I was like, I am never ever getting laid off. I'm going to make myself indispensable at the next wine job I will have.
You got kind of pissed off.
I was. Oh my God.
I can see by the look on your face.
I was like, because the guy called me in. He's like, all right, this is your last shift. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, this is my last shift. Like, no 2 weeks notice, nothing.
Oh God.
Yeah. But
it's so insulting.
Yeah, it really is. But then again, like, the way life works out is so interesting, because I went online that day, and 2 weeks later, there was a WSET diploma course starting in Austria, in Rust. WSET is Wine and Spirit Education Trust.
Oh.
It's a London-based company that teaches wine and spirits, and it's sort of an accreditation, right?
Right.
So it's like the CMS, the Court Master of Sommeliers. Gotcha. It's not tied to any school. They are within themselves an institution. So anyways, and there's WSET 1, 2, 3, and then the diploma course, that's the highest that you can take. And I already had WSET 1, 2, and 3. So I just signed up for the diploma course, and 2 weeks later, not even 2 weeks later, that same week, basically, I got laid off on a Monday or Tuesday or something. And on Sunday, I was already on a flight back to Hungary, because the wine school was in Rust, which is directly across the border from Hungary, from western Hungary. Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting about this? I mean, many things are interesting, but one thing that caught my attention was, I asked you just before we got on here, like, think about your mentors and also think about those people that got in your way. But the ironic thing is, this jerk that laid you off it led somewhere very good. And I think that's an interesting part of how we grow as well. For sure. When we're mistreated or treated. And I think that's a great example. Yeah. And that guy's probably still just lurking around and some?
No, he makes wine actually. Yeah.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. He made his own winery, and I've actually gone back to Arizona, tasted it, and it was very good. So yeah, good on him,
Wow.
honestly.
So I don't know if forgiveness is the right word, but you've let sleeping dogs lie, or you?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what am I going to hold a grudge against him for fighting? He did me a favor. Because I would have maybe not ended up where I ended up, and that was super cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you say it as like, who would do that? Who would hold a grudge? But people do sometimes hold a grudge, and you don't. So I'm just interested in why you think you don't hold a grudge.
I don't have the mental capacity for it. I don't care. I don't care. I just there's so many other things that I care about. And if there was anybody that I would ever hold a grudge against, I just wouldn't want to meet him ever again. So then why even bother? It's just mental space that it takes up, and it's not what I want to focus on. It just seems silly to me.
Well, holding grudges, they say, often is its own poison. Somebody was talking to, I can't remember, I'm not saying it exactly right, but it says it's a burning coal you hold in your hands.
Right.
Like it burns you.
Exactly. Like, what are you going to do? Like, I hate this person.
Right.
Like, I mean, the extreme culmination of that is like, okay, I'm going to kill this person. Right. Like, what else are, you hold that much of a grudge against someone, and then to resolve it, like, you kill him, and then, okay, well, cool. Now you don't have a grudge anymore. But anything short of that, like, then what? Now you're just holding this grudge for the rest of your life, and you think back on like, oh, this so-and-so is such an asshole. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand that. Like, why is it good for you?
Well, it may,
because the other person doesn't know. Like, if I had a grudge and I was like, oh, what an asshole, and every single time I thought about them, like, I don't know, like their knee started hurting. Great. Awesome. Now I have gratification.
That's voodoo dolls. That's what the whole voodoo doll thing is about.
Right. Exactly.
Well, one thing I don't want to be a person who holds a grudge either, but I can get triggered. I've noticed like somebody does something that's similar to someone who has been harmful to me. And it's just sort of like all of a sudden something happens in my brain. It's not like I go and punch him in the nose, but I do become very wary and cautious. I've noticed that. So it's not like I spend my time just like, worrying or thinking or, being angry but the trigger can happen to me sometimes. It's just, I just have to face it, it's a painful fact about me, but it does happen. But I think I'm not alone in that in terms of getting triggered.
The only thing not the only thing, but probably one of the main things that triggers me is bad food. When I get bad food.
Really?
Oh my God, I get so pissed. Shit.
Okay,
I will go in the kitchen. I was like, do you want me to show you how to make béarnaise sauce? Like, what is this? You just gave me hot mayo. What is your problem? Like, get out of my face. I can't do that. I can't. Oh man. Yeah. No. I love good food. I love food. I think about food probably more than anything else. Yep. And when I get bad food, I just get pissed, especially if it's especially if it's supposed to be good. If I'm getting like a taco from a taco truck, like I sort of mitigate my expectations. Like, I'm paying $3 for this taco. Like, I'm not expecting for it to save the world. But if I'm paying $100 for something, then I expect $100 worth of food, and I expect $100 service. And if I don't, if I feel like I'm getting shafted, then, oh man, like, you're going to know.
Anymore, $100, like you can spend a lot more than $100 at a restaurant.
Sure. Yeah.
But I just, I like surprising food, street food that is incredibly tasty, or some little hole in the wall restaurant, and you go in. I went to this ramen place in Boulder here not too long ago, just in a little strip area, and it was, not in the least bit, impressive, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
But boy, I had a pork bun and I had some pot stickers.
Yeah.
And oh my God, they're delicious. They were just so
no,
good.
It doesn't. And I'm not talking about that it has to be like
no,
Michelin
no.
star
I
food
know
every
you.
time,
I know you
but
didn't mean that. So
I
that's why.
love street food. Like some of my favorite food experiences have been in Thailand at some of the night markets or something. And oh my God, I mean, it's so grungy there. Jesus Christ. I mean, you want to be careful. I mean, I've definitely gotten food poisoning there, but it was delicious. Yeah, like over the coals, like the skewers, the different vegetables, different fruits, the mango. Oh my God, the lychee. I mean, I've definitely gotten
lychee.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten food poisoning from lychee. God, I don't even because I learned it the hard way that you don't buy lychee that's already been peeled and it's like sitting in some sort of water there because God knows like what's in there. You should buy the lychees that are still
interesting in
their little pokey shell.
I try to learn something new every day, and today I learned how to buy lychee. So thank you very much. Well, you're like I don't know, an intercontinental kind of guy. You've been around the world here a few times.
I've traveled a lot for sure. Yeah, I mean, I've probably collectively I spent like more than a year and a half in Thailand. I've been to India. I mentioned that I was in South Africa for 6 weeks with my friend. I mean, I've been to Berlin, God, dozens of times, London, all over Europe.
How about South America or Latin America?
Once I've been to Peru. Went to Lima for a week and then flew into Pucallpa. And then from there, we took a little tuk-tuk boat and did ayahuasca for 7 days. So
did you?
Yeah.
Well, that is one reason why many people go to Peru. But Lima also is famous for its food scene.
It was incredible. I love the food in Lima.
That's what everyone says.
And it's just, I mean, this was right after high school. So since then, it's gotten even better. So I would love to go back to Lima. Yeah.
Have you done any more ayahuasca experiences since then?
No, that was the only
one and done.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a Mark before and after ayahuasca for sure. I mean, 7 days in the jungle, 6 days of ayahuasca every night. That'll do it to you. Yeah.
I know it's hard to use words. Maybe you need Hungarian words to explain this specific thing.
Sure.
But what did make a difference for you after the ayahuasca?
How much time do we have?
2 minutes.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I can't tell you, obviously, my entire experience because that's just way too long. But these sort of geometric light beings that I communicated with. I'm really speaking as myself because I believe in no woo-woo. Really, I'm very against woo-woo stuff. However, like this was so real. Like you and I sitting here right now, that's how real that communication was. And I am a firm believer that truth can come from anywhere, no matter the source. I mean, if a bum tells you 2 + 2 is 4, that's the same if Einstein tells you 2 + 2 is 4, right? So it's true. It's true. Truth is truth. Yeah. So I communicated with these light beings. And
were they little or were they big?
Oh no, they were like relatively big. They were like sort of like Shaquille O'Neal size. So like they were like big, light, geometric beings that pulsated, that were made of pure love. And they told me that as long as I do my best, that is enough and I will be loved. I was like, oh shit. Okay, cool.
Okay, I love that for a final comment. I didn't do ayahuasca. I did mushrooms, and it was an individual thing. Mm. But I was left with this one sort of overarching thing. You can ask people for help.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I ended up. And it was like, that sounds like not much, but it was really a tremendous insight for me. And you got a tremendous insight.
For sure, yeah.
That's a good place to stop,
cool.
Mark. I appreciate so much you're coming in. I really have enjoyed this conversation.
This was a great conversation. Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.